Good evening, everyone. Welcome. I'm very glad to see you. It's good to be here. The night is here, and, well, they say drinking alone is a sign of a problem. And I'd like to think we're problem solvers here, especially for one that's so easily solved with an internet connection. So I'd like to invite you all to come join me and do a little drinking and a little thinking. So, yeah. At least I'd be honored if you join me. Nothing too fancy, just a little chamomile tea to wind down the night. And don't feel obligated to drink anything at all if you don't want, but yeah, the important thing is that we have a good time. So, that being said, cheers to you. And Jesus too. Good old chamomile. Can't go wrong. Anyway, I'm sure like myself, many of you have been watching the news, and Afghanistan has been in the forefront. It's been on our minds, and it's tragic, the images that we're seeing. 20 years, we've been at it, and it's just awful to have it end like this, right? I'm sure many of you have seen the scenes on the ground, news footage and whatnot. There's videos all over the internet too. Taliban just streaming in, rolling into Kabul, and people panicking, desperate, trying to get to the airport, trying to avoid being done in by the Taliban, the people that we supposedly went in to kick out 20 years ago. And people just, desperate, like I said, trying to get in, clinging to airplanes. I'm sure many of you saw the tragic footage, people clinging onto the C-17s, C-5s. I think they were C-17s, but, the big gray military planes, the big ones. And they're willing to risk tragic circumstances to avoid the Taliban, and it's just sad. It's just so sad, and, in times like these, for, when people need answers, when you're looking for answers, or just to make sense of it all, personally, I turn to two things, and I just wanted to share them with you. One of them is a history book, and the other is the good book, the Bible. History, just real quick, just off the top of my head, I'm sure many of you have made similar comparisons to Vietnam, right? And the helicopter scene, it was just very similar, right? It's just such a similar situation. You think we would have learned our lesson as a nation. Same thing. Vietnam, the North Vietnamese, the communists came streaming across the border, invading into Saigon, and then the helicopter at the embassy, and a lot of lives lost, a lot of money lost, and in the end, not much good was done. I'm sorry. And I hate to say it, but this all reminded me, like I said, I take a page out of the history book. It reminded me of something I read a long time ago, and I just wanted to share it with you all. And it was written by our 6th President of the United States, John Quincy Adams, who, of course, was a founding father of this country. A very intelligent and wise man, at least in my opinion. And this speech was written in given July 4th, 1821, when he was actually Secretary of State. And, I if you want answers, it's hard to go wrong with a page out of history. So, like I said, I'll share this. It's not a long speech. Well, it is a long speech, but this is just a short excerpt of it. And I think you'll find it very applicable to the current situation. So, sit down, get comfy, and the speech goes a little something like this. And now, friends and countrymen, if the wise and learned philosophers of the elder world, the first observers of notation and aberration, the discoverers of maddening ether and invisible planets, the inventors of congreve rockets and shrapnel shells, should find their hearts disposed to inquire what has America done for the benefit of mankind, let our answer be this: America, with the same voice which spoke herself into existence as a nation, proclaimed to mankind the inextinguishable rights of human nature, and the only lawful foundations of government. America, in the Assembly of Nations, since her admission among them, has invariably, though often fruitlessly, held forth to them the hand of honest friendship, of equal freedom, of generous reciprocity. She has uniformly spoken among them, though often to heedless and often to disdainful ears, the language of equal liberty, of equal justice, and of equal rights. She has, in the lapse of nearly half a century, without a single exception, respected the independence of other nations, while asserting and maintaining her own. She has abstained from interference in the concerns of others, even when conflict has been for principles to which she clings, as to the last vital drop that visits the heart. She has seen that probably for centuries to come, all the contests of that Aceldama, the European world, will be contests of inveterate power and emerging right. Wherever the standard of freedom and independence has been, or shall be unfurled, there will her heart, her benedictions, and her prayers be. But she goes not abroad in search of monsters to destroy. She is the well-wisher to the freedom and independence of all. She is the champion and vindicator only of her own. She will commend the general cause by the countenance of her voice, and the benignant sympathy of her example. She well knows that by once enlisting under other banners than her own, were they even the banners of foreign independence, she would involve herself beyond the powers of extrication in all the wars of interest and intrigue, of individual avarice, envy, and ambition, which assume the colors and usurp the standard of freedom. The fundamental maxims of her policy would insensibly change from liberty to force. She might become the dictatress of the world. She would be no longer the ruler of her own spirit. America's glory is not in dominion, but liberty. Her march is the march of the mind. She has a spear and a shield, but the motto upon her shield is freedom, independence, peace. This has been her declaration. This has been, as far as her necessary intercourse with the rest of mankind would permit, her practice. And there you have it. America was only meant to look out for itself, our own freedoms. I mean, this is John Adams we're talking about, the founding father. If anybody would know how this government, this country was supposed to function, it would be this man. America is supposed to be a beacon of freedom and hope to the world. We're not supposed to go around invading and doing all these things. And, I mean, it's almost prophetic, right? She would involve herself beyond the powers of extrication, right? How long were we in Vietnam? How long were we in Afghanistan? Decades, right? And I mean, all this meddling that we've done, has it increased freedom across the world? Have we gotten anything for these wars? I mean, let me put it to you this way. Osama bin Laden, right? 9/11. He got support from us. You got to go back a little bit. I think a lot of you know this, though. We funded Osama bin Laden, and I don't remember if it was the Mujahideen or the Taliban. This was back in the 80s, basically, when the Russians invaded Afghanistan, and we gave Osama bin Laden guns, weapons, logistical support, all manner of support that he needed to fight the Russians. And then what happened after they kicked the Russians out? They turned on us. If we'd never been there, if we'd never stuck our nose where it didn't belong, wouldn't have happened. Wouldn't have happened. There would have been no Osama bin Laden. Or maybe they would have, but he wouldn't have had nearly the capability that he assumed. You know, the capability that we gave him. It's history. Take a page from a history book. It's there for anyone to read. The internet. Look it up. It's there. I encourage you, you know. Don't listen to me, you know. I mean, there's just so much wisdom. I mean, when you look at the way America was set up, and I did a video on this a while ago, you know, about the Second Amendment. America wasn't even supposed to have a standing army for this very reason. We're not supposed to go sending troops all over the globe, fighting in conflicts everywhere. I mean, look at how many military bases we have all over the planet. We have several hundred military bases in who knows how many countries. We have bases that we don't even know about. I remember a while ago there were some U.S. soldiers which were unfortunately ambushed in Africa, and I don't remember which country it was. It was like Cameroon or Congo or somewhere. Everybody, I mean, all of us, myself included, and I remember some people even in the media were asking, Congress too. They were asking, what are we doing there, you know? We got people all over the world. We don't even know what they're doing. We're spending money, spending time, resources, money, doing what? It's not America, right? That's not how this country was founded. That's not how it was set up. Like I said, America is supposed to be the beacon which people could look to be an inspiration. People are supposed to look to us and say, we want to be like them. Not invading them. You know, and that, yeah, brings me to my next point. I gotta reference my handy dandy notes or I will get horribly off track. You know, these values that everybody claims to espouse, you know, like democracy and free and fair elections and all this, I hate to break it to you, but it doesn't come from the barrel of a gun. I don't know why people don't understand this, especially after the Vietnam thing, but think about it. Freedom, democracy, voting, you know, equality, rights, all these wonderful sounding things, they're not acquired by forcing it on people. I mean, think about it. Nobody in Afghanistan asked us, sorry, it's a little late, for democracy, right? And the original intent to invade Afghanistan wasn't to bring democracy and elections and schools and women's rights, you know, regardless of how nice they sound or how worthy they might be, right? That wasn't what we were supposed to do there. We were supposed to get Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda, remember, Al-Qaeda, not the Taliban. Now, they told us the Taliban were helping Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda, I think it's Al-Qaeda. Okay, so we kick the Taliban, give them a good kicking, get Osama bin Laden, who, by the way, was hiding in Pakistan, which was conveniently forgotten or something, I don't know. And then you see all these Taliban fighters streaming across the border from Pakistan into Kabul. Weird, isn't it? Just saying. Just saying, awfully weird. But anyway, um, yeah, nobody asked us for democracy. Go in there, get Osama bin Laden, get out. That was what they told us. That's what Congress told us. And I remember this vividly, okay? They said this isn't going to be another Vietnam. Like, look, there's YouTube videos. I'll try and link one. Every politician that voted for this war, I'm not kidding, all of them, said that this isn't going to be another Vietnam. They said, we're not going to be in there for years. We're in, we're out, war's over by Christmas. Where have we heard that one before? World War One, anyone? Come on. Come on. And here we are, 20 years later. Democracy doesn't come from a barrel of a gun. You know, I mean, they gotta want it. You know, and when you, once again, another page from the history book, when you look at the founding of our country, right? We fought for these values because we held them in our hearts, right? We have men like John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, John Hancock, and a whole bunch of others that would take too long to name, but I think you get my point. Patriotism, love of country, democracy, it was in their hearts, and they were willing to fight for it themselves. And that's why it worked, right? It doesn't work by forcing it on somebody. I mean, Afghanistan, let's be honest, that place has been run by chiefs and warlords since the time of Alexander the Great. I'm not kidding, right? I mean, it's just been that way. And who are we to go over there and tell them any different? You know? I mean, talking about, you know, the Bible, I'm just going to bring it in there. You know, Jesus, kind of a cool dude, right? He said to treat others the way you wanted to be treated, right? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. The golden rule. I feel like everybody forgot that. You know what I mean? Like, think about it. If Afghanistan had an army, and they flew over here and invaded America, and then started telling us, hey, your democracy, we don't like that. It's not good. You need to be more like us with war chiefs and tribal chiefs and, you know, that sort of thing. And we're going to put bases all over in your country. I mean, you wouldn't like that very much. I wouldn't like that very I don't think anybody would like that very much, right? I mean, something so simple. Treat people the way you wanted to be treated. Do we forget this lesson? I mean, 2,000 years ago, Jesus, regardless of how you feel about his divinity, right? I think there's a lot of wisdom in those words. And there is, right? I mean, you can't deny it. I don't want people coming in here telling me how I need to do my politics or run my country. So why are we going to other places and doing the same? Come on. So, I mean, and that brings me to my next point. This is kind of a tough pill to swallow, but it's the truth. And I don't want to say it, but I have an obligation to the truth. Even if these values are worthwhile, right? We say democracy and schooling and roads and all that. Go over there. What do the Afghans see versus what we tell them? Let me ask you that. Do we walk the walk? Do we talk the talk? We talk about roads and bridges and schools and democracy and all these things. But what did the Afghanis see? Did our actions back up our words? I'm sorry, but the answer's no. It's a very clear no. All right. And I hate to say it, but look, most Americans don't even embody, you don't practice the values that you preach. Well, I mean, what did they see? Think about it. We talk about democracy, right? Well, I mean, we elect the sleaziest, disgusting, bald-faced, lying politicians that you've ever seen. And we put up with it. Right? I mean, these are some of the scummiest people ever. And they're in the most powerful positions in our country. What kind of message does that send? Right? We're going to bring democracy to Afghanistan or Vietnam or wherever. What about our democracy? We can't even clean up our country. What makes you think we're going to go over there and give them an honest democracy? And think about what the Afghanis saw on the ground. The corruption. I mean, how many soldiers, how many pictures of soldiers guarding poppy fields do you need to see before you realize that we have a government that is slightly out of control? I'm looking at you, CIA, right? Running drugs. And then what did that do to us? You know, opium, heroin overdoses. It costs who knows how many lives. Yeah, that's what we got for the war. We got opium, heroin overdoses. And the Afghanis saw that. They saw the opium fields. They saw the soldiers guarding those opium fields. They saw the military contractors coming in and making billions of dollars. That's another thing we got for this war, huh? How many military contractors did we enrich? How many millionaires and billionaires did we mint from this war? That's another little jewel we pulled out of that country, isn't it? The corruption. And they saw it. I saw it. I hope you saw it. It seemed like every day I read a new article about some government official, some contractor making just bank, and they give this money or support or equipment to some Afghani general or politician or whatever, and they'd waste the money. Sometimes they'd sell the equipment, and then what? They'd take a suitcase and run out of the country before they could go to trial. And the Afghanis saw this. They saw this. You think those are values that they want in their country? They're not blind. And another thing. Talking about hypocrisy and espousing values and all this. Once again, just talking about corruption, democracy. There's other values too that seem to go unnoticed in modern America. But I'm sure the Afghanis saw them, and I see them, and I'm going to point them out. All right. Besides democracy and all this, let me put it to you this way. Imagine you're an Afghani, right? And you're interested in America, right? You've got American soldiers in your streets, and they're building things, and you're seeing all this corruption or whatnot. And, you know, you turn on the TV. You say, I'm going to watch some American TV. Or you turn on your favorite streaming service. Or you watch an American movie. You say, what are these Americans about? What would they see? What values are we putting out to the world, specifically Afghanistan, for them to see? Think about it. What values does Hollywood, do the numerous streaming services embody? What does America embody nowadays? I'll tell you. I'll tell you right now, you turn on that TV, that Afghani's going to turn on that TV, and what are they going to see? They're going to see, talking about the internet and stuff, I mean, I'm just going to go there, all right? Pornography, right? Women sleeping around, men sleeping around, just horrible, horrible things, right? And it is. You know, say fornication, kind of on the similar note. You know, everybody's sleeping with everybody, kind of on the same note, but I think you get what I mean. I mean, I can remember not that long ago, sleeping around was looked down upon. And now being a virgin is shamed, right? What happened? What kind of country am I living in? What kind of backwards, disgusting country has these values? You know, adultery. They'd see that's on the TV all the time, right? Cheating on your husband, cheating on your wife. You know, and it's just normal. It's considered normal. I mean, think about it. We don't even punish people for committing adultery in this country. How wrong is that? Think about it. You can get married, right? You make your vows, and you're supposed to love and honor and cherish and be loyal for until the day you die, right? Till death do us part. And now you can until you find someone better, right? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. You know, and if you do, you find someone better, you know, divorce. You just get a divorce till you find someone better. You know? That's an epidemic right now. That's another American value. Everybody's getting divorced. And what are divorces? Broken homes, broken families, broken children, creating a broken nation. These values, this is what you put out. This is what our Afghani is going to see. You know? And divorce, you can walk away with half of this stuff. You can cheat, and you can walk away with the kids. You can walk away with the house, half the cars, half the bank account. What kind of country is that? Going on. I mean, lying. You'd be hard pressed to find an honest person nowadays. Everybody's lying. You know? Cheating. Not the adultery type. I mean, like, actually cheating. Gaming the system. Trying to get ahead. That ties it to selfishness. Right? Everybody's only thinking about themselves. Money-driven. Greedy. Violence. I mean, just look at the violence everywhere. Drugs. We got a drug epidemic right now. Drug use. You turn on the streaming service once again. The TV. Drug use. Alcoholism. Right? There's nothing wrong with cracking open a beer, all right? I ain't going to judge you there, but I'm talking about just rampant alcoholism. People going out, getting partied, getting smashed at a party. Doing dumb things. American values? Are these the values that represent us? Abortion? I'm not going to apologize for that one. I'm not. Murdering your kids, that's an American value, isn't it? Do it all the time. Hate. Yeah, that's an American value too. That Afghani is going to turn on that TV and see hate. Hating people because of the color of their skin, right? All colors, okay? Not just people who are darker. People who are lighter too. Yeah, I said it. Okay, I'm talking hate in any form. And not just that, hating people, hating your country, hating your heritage, hating where you came from. What kinds of values are these? They're not. They're horrible. They're horrible things which give neither purpose or meaning. And I challenge you all. I really want to challenge you all. Please reflect on this. What I just said. What this Afghani is going to see on TV or the streaming service. He's going to turn on the streaming service and he's going to see a fantasy show. You know, with gratuitous violence and fornication, incest, the foulest language you've ever heard. Once again, what kind of values are those? You think that Afghani's going to want that there? I don't even want that here. And look, I hate to say it, but how do you think the Taliban got so much support? I mean, that's really the gist of what I'm getting at, isn't it? It's kind of the main point here. You think they wanted that in their country? Americans telling them about freedom and democracy and equality and all these things. But what are the values that they embody? What are the values that you embody? That we embody? These horrible, horrible things. And where do these values, these unvalues lead us? Seriously, think about it. I mean, I challenge you. Not that long ago, these things were looked down on, right? Where has this led us? These values, these horrible things. Look around you. Just look around you and what has happened to us? I mean, everywhere you go, I mean, people are overweight. They're on drugs, illegal and legal, antidepressants. Nobody's happy. They're angry. I can't tell you how much road rage I see almost every day now. People cutting each other off, flipping each other off. I think I mentioned in another video, here in California, there's been several shootings. People shooting for who knows what, cut the other driver off, or maybe they flipped them off. Everybody's bitter. I mentioned the broken relationships, broken homes, broken families, and that in turn creates a broken nation. I mean, relationships used to be special. Look at what's happened to us. People sleep around so much it doesn't mean anything anymore. Everybody's dead inside. Everybody walks around with a frown on their face. I mean, just look at dating. It's horrible right now. Men are mad at women. Women are mad at men. Nobody can seem to figure it out. Everybody's sleeping with everybody. It just doesn't mean anything anymore. I'm telling you, intimacy used to be something wonderful and beautiful. It was something special that you did with someone special, and you would cherish them, And now we don't. Now we just sleep around, and it has no meaning anymore, does it? Just something you do. I mean, look around you. Please. Where is this road? Where are these values taking us? And then ask yourself, what country on earth would want to share these values? I can't think of very many. I mean, I hope the answer is none. I'm unwilling to accept it here, like I said. These values aren't worth fighting for. And that's why the Afghani army didn't fight. I wouldn't fight for these values. I doubt you would either. But there are values that are worth fighting for. Like Mr. Adams said, America's supposed to be a beacon, a standard for the world. And there are values that can accomplish that, right? Values like honor, duty, sacrifice, dedication, hard work, perseverance, honesty, loyalty, love, and not the fake love. Not the love that you see on Hollywood, I'll love you until I find someone better or I get tired of you. I mean true, genuine love. Where you love that person, no matter what, for who they are and who they could be. Real love. Those are values worth fighting for. And I guarantee you, if we embrace those values once again, we will. We will be the beacon. We will be the light. We won't have to invade countries. I mean, not that we should. People will look to us once again, as they did before. Look to history. People came from all over the planet, decades ago, 100 years ago. People emigrated from all over the world. I mean, Ellis Island. Why? Why did they do that? Because America embodied the good values. Dedication, hard work, perseverance, freedom, the true freedom, right? Where the government isn't telling you what to do. People were free to live their lives as they saw fit, as long as they weren't hurting other people. And we were all better off for that. And now we've lost sight of these values, and look at what's happened to us. And look at what we're doing. We're invading other countries. That is not the mark of a nation that embraces freedom. I guarantee you, if we turn to these values once again, America will be great again. And I'd like to share something with you on that note. We can embody these values once again. And I know we can because I've seen it not that long ago. Well, it doesn't feel like that long ago anyway. 9/11, 2001. It was picture day for me. And I remember 12-year-old me, walking into the auditorium, and there was this big group of people, and they were just gathered all around the little TV. Back in the day, the screen was little, but it was like that wide, And I remember just thinking, how odd, Everybody abandoned picture day to watch this little TV, and I remember looking at the screen and thinking it was a movie or something, and I just, wow, it must be a great movie or something to get everybody away from the school stuff. And then the second plane hit, and I remember everybody jumped back, and everybody was shocked and gasped, and people started talking, and then that's when it hit me, this is real. And that was a lot for a 12-year-old to process, a lot of emotions. I'm sure a lot of you felt the same way, for those of you who were around. We were scared. We felt helpless, worried, and things were scary. But then something wonderful happened. Something good happened. We all came together. We did. And I mean, in every sense of the word, we just came together. We were Americans. And we stopped all this nonsense, and we started embracing these values. And I'm telling you, it was so wonderful. We were all just Americans again. And we were all going to work hard. We were all going to help each other. And I kid you not, I saw people walking little old ladies across the street again. Cops, everybody would wave to them, they'd tip their hats. Firefighters would go by in their trucks, and they'd have the big old American flags in the back, and we'd all cheer and wave and clap, and they'd honk their horns. It was indescribable joy to know that even something that horrible wasn't going to break us. Because we were going to overcome. We were going to work hard. We were going to do whatever it took to be better, to better ourselves and our country. And that's the America that I know. That's the America that I love. And that's the America that I know embodies the ideals that the founding fathers had for us. America wasn't meant to go out searching for monsters to destroy in foreign nations all across the globe. Nah. We gotta destroy the monsters here, in our country, inside ourselves. These horrible things that I just brought up, you know? Hate, anger, bad stuff, right? I think we can agree this is bad stuff. We gotta do away with it. And that's the thing, right? I believe fully in my heart. We don't need another attack. It shouldn't take another attack for us to do that again, for us to be like that again. We can do it. All we gotta do is just say no. Say no to these things. These horrible, horrible things, and I'm telling you, I look around and I see everybody depressed and angry and all those things, and I just say to myself, it doesn't have to be this way. So I want to challenge you. And I want to challenge myself too, you know? We don't need to invade foreign countries to bring democracy. I hope we learn the lesson from this. Let's be the change that we want to see. Let's let people look to us. Let's do away with all this nonsense. Let's bring hope and true love and true joy, starting here. And then people will look to us once again. It can be done. I believe it can. And I'm going to do everything I can. Like I said, it starts with me. And I'm going to try my best. And I hope you do the same. Yeah. I will dismount the soapbox now. It was kind of a long one, but I think we covered a lot. And I hope you think about what I said. Even if you just pause for a little bit and just think about some of the things I said. I'll have considered a job well done. So anyway, I think I've said about all that needs to be said. I hope you have a good night. Hope you have a good weekend. And if things are going rough for you, you're having a hard time, I hope you reach out, to myself or somebody, We're in this together. I really believe that. And I'll keep you in my thoughts and prayers. And I hope things get better for you, whatever it is. And if things are going well for you, I hope they keep going well for you, Going through a rough time kind of sucks. We've all been there. And that's why I hope it keeps going well for you, I do. From the bottom of my heart, I hope things just keep going well for you forever, So that's why I'll keep you in my prayers too. So, I hope you check out the description below for any show notes, things like that. Hope you leave me a comment. I love comments. I love banter and discussion. And I love other points of view. Am I right? Am I wrong? Is this nonsense? Let me know. But I love doing this. And I love the feedback, really helps me get up in the morning, you know? Yeah. I hope things work out for you. And yeah. Good night, everyone. Take care.